Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, welcome to where we're Silver Stetson, the Snetter town of Snetters. Where are we at?
Lausitz Ring.
Somewhere in Laos. We're hanging out in Laos, and there are multiple. We're getting a little segregationist, and we're doing multiple classes here. So it's not like we think you're lower on the order or a lesser human being, but we just have to put you in a different class.
Well, I
I
mean,
am very
they got to
attractive, and
choose
with
their
me, as
classes.
always, is the man who invented Iceland, Mago Magus.
Oh, I invented Iceland now. Excellent. I did a fine job then, because Iceland is a lovely country that runs quite well.
But you named it poorly.
It is named poorly. Although, I mean, Iceland does kind of fit it. It's just that Greenland really doesn't fit Greenland. Like,
Should be Volcanoland.
That's really the problem.
We should name it Volcanoland and then have them in Hawaii duke it out for a head volcano island.
I mean, I got to go with Hawaii on that one.
But they're so small.
But they are actually heavier populated than Iceland.
Are they?
They
that
are,
would make
actually.
sense.
So, or it's very close if not. So plus the Hawaiians have a lot of Pacific Islander blood. So
There you go. Well, here's your. You can live in Hawaii, which is a tropical paradise. You can hunt all the pigs you want because they're an invasive species, and they've got access deer that are a plague. But you have to put up with tremendous amounts of volcanoes and probably a lot of tropical diseases. Or you can live in Iceland, which is pretty fucking cool. No mosquitoes. Your choice.
no mosquitoes is appealing, considering I have a mosquito bite right on the blade of my shin right now. It sucks. Tobias T8's Jesus Huerta will lead us away from the front row of the GTE class. In the GT3 category, it is Josiah Jerome and Alfonso Alexandre leading the way. Jamie Ford and Mauricio Delgado. Hey, Mauricio! And Martin Edmonds, who is our class trainer. He was in a GTE last race. He is now in the GT3 category because he didn't like the GTE. Didn't like that he was slow. And now he is down with the lower class individuals.
Wow.
As we look at Gaston Lecurzi as he heads out on track. Along with that is Josiah Jerome ahead of him in the Audi. And further back, I'm not sure who the Callaway C7 is because that livery is a duplicate in the pack. So, unfortunately, we do have a couple of duplicated liveries, particularly the GTEs where it's all white with like slight variations, and it's going to be really, really, really hard to tell who's who. But we will do our best. This is a 60-minute race with a single pit stop where you have to take at least 2 times.
Just throw them in the back and keep driving.
I would recommend taking all 4 because this track is pretty even on wear, so there's not really a 2 tires anywhere that really makes sense to swap it and keep the other 2. But it is worth something like 14 seconds at the pit stop, so there is that.
No, there will not be.
Well, we'll see. If someone comes out of the pits with a really short pit stop, we know what happened. Jesus Huerta, he's starting from second, sporting the Peruvian flag. Early days of this championship, of course, just the second round here. We opened up at Portimao 1 week ago. As Jesus Huerta going off the track. We'll see a lot of that. Lausitz Ring is a deceptively tricky track, and that is, of course, the weird-ass pit lane that Huerta is exploring, where you get to skip the last chicane by going into the pits. It's a bit interesting. Back looks like everybody's coming in. Maybe to do
the race is
practice
over.
pit stop.
The race is over. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Video will end.
Max Simmons. All right, what are the odds that Max Simmons is the last guy to pit here today?
Pretty good. Look, he'll be one of the last 3 for sure.
It usually is. Roman Barthez, one of our favorites, because he always has action happening around him.
Granted.
I was thinking maybe we could figure out what tires a car is running by looking at them, but it looks like they have the same color coding edges, unfortunately.
Same,
but
different.
The GTE Porsches do have 3 different tire compounds. You see that Max is running the medium tire of that, the middle one. There's the soft and there is the hard, as 2 GTEs are coming out side by side. That's not bright. Pedro Magalesh, and I'm not sure who the other one is.
I like the fact that they've all got the same paint scheme, so they fit in.
Well, they don't have the same paint scheme. It's just that the variation is incredibly limited. It is Catholic school uniform like levels of variation,
but not sexy.
No, well, I mean, depends on what you think about the Porsche.
I think it looks like it may have had some remedial education, but they do go kind of fast.
Grid is forming up here as cars appear from the pit lane.
Got to do better than fucking appears, mate.
All right, 25 cars, 13 GT3s, 12 GTEs around the Lausitz Ring for 60 minutes. Here we... Come on, lights. Go!
Nope. Stop. No, jump the gun.
Here we go. Well, no one jumped the gun. Getting some interesting action in the background, although, again, it is next to impossible to commentate on the GTE action because they all are white Porsches. It's very difficult. Well, Jesus Huerta got a jump on the pole sitter. Tobias TH and has taken lead for the eSports Racing Argentina crew. Tobias and Pedro, second and third. Then Gaston Lecurzi, Bertrand Barrier, Aaron Racer, Richard DeRoche, Grande Ricardo in the house. Arjun Laksham. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. It goes off the screen. I can't even do it. Roman Barthez, Andrew D, Magic Kashchuk, and Max Simmons, your GTE running order. Josiah Jerome, Jamie Fordham, Guido Cannonati, Martin Edmonds, Alfonso Alexandre got a really bad start. He's been backpedaled all the way to 5th. Vic Vega, Mauricio Delgado, also a pretty bad start. Followed by John Barker, Steve Davidson, Rene Armour, Wayne Hutchison, Dan Fight, and Michael Magus. There is the battle for the lead of the GT3 class. Jamie Fordham trying to get through, but Josiah Jerome bogarting the position.
Set them all on fire.
I mean, that would be an interesting idea. Oh, what a get him. C7 sideways there. That is Vic Vega, the Danish driver. Getting shuffled back in the order and rejoining ahead of John Barcadero in his very eye-catching BMW. Oh, boy! Aaron Racer is sideways in the pit lane exit. That will drop him to the back of GTE for sure. Still Huerta leading from TH and Maglash. On board with Martin Edmonds, P4 in the GT3 category. Looking to get past Guido Cantonati. I believe it's Guido. I might be wrong. Watches I'm terribly, terribly wrong, and the G stands for something else.
Geraldo.
I think I would have remembered it was Geraldo. That's Aaron Racer working his way back through the GTE3 field. They'll probably give him minimal resistance. Whoop, Tobias TH going a little wide. So Bertrand Barrier on the mediums. We've seen mediums and softs for the GT, so we've got some tire mismatching going on. Be interesting to see what tire proves to be the better option. With the mediums, you're going to get a slower car, less grip, but you will get more tire life as Max Simmons looks to get past Magic Kashchuk. I actually now know what Magic Kashchuk sounds like because we were on comms during this race. So I have a voice to associate with the name now.
Does it sound like somebody gave Darth Vader 50 gallons of helium?
No, it sounds very British.
I say roll that.
Martin Edmonds in the Frickadelli Porsche losing a spot there to the Callaway C7 of... Alfonso Alexandre. I should have known that. He is the red Callaway that got a penalty at Portimao. Which he is apparently very chuffed about. So, we'll see.
Pip, pip, and or cheerio.
He just doesn't agree with the penalty. I'm a little puzzled by it because it was a very obvious penalty. But
guilty.
Oh well. Andrew D on board. He's running the softs, so he needs to make time while he's on the air quotes faster tires. And down in 8th place, it doesn't seem like he's doing that. He's behind Arjun, who, if we focus on him, I will give the last name a shot, but not off of what I could see there. Is that happening?
Does Arjun have a sister, perhaps named Tina?
Oh. But that's a good job.
Hey, look, it's Bert the Barrier.
Bertrand Barrier. Running in 5th place. He was also on voice comms, so we know what he sounds like, but he doesn't seem to speak English, so Martin has to act as translator. Or it could all be a long con. He actually understands everything we're saying. He just wants to expose us all at the end of the day.
He actually works for the FBI. He's going to turn us in.
Well, the FBI wouldn't have any jurisdiction over us. We're Canadians. It'd be the CIA.
That is... then we're going to get assassinated. Shit. Or get really cool jobs.
I didn't say that it was going to be better. I just said it would be the CIA. FBI is domestic.
Sure, you believe that?
I don't believe that. I'm just saying they're supposed to be domestic.
I bet you they don't even sweep.
Alfonso Alexandre into turn 1, looking to get the overtake done here on 3rd place Guido Cantonati. Again, I'm remembering that it's Guido. We haven't seen the name, so I could be wrong.
This is about an Italian guy named Cannolis.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
No, that'd be really bad. No one wants me in Cincinnati.
Just baseball people.
Oh, I don't even think the Cincinnati Reds want to be in Cincinnati.
Well, I mean, it's not like they can move to any place like LA. LA's already got 17 baseball teams, 42 football teams, and half the basketball league.
LA's got everything. 2 MLS teams in LA.
Really?
Yep. Los Angeles FC and Los Angeles Galaxy. Then you've got 2 basketball teams, Clippers and Lakers. You've got 2 football teams, Rams and Raiders.
No, that's Las Vegas now.
Oh, pardon me. Rams and Chargers. That's the one.
Oh, right. Le Charge.
Mm-hmm.
But they ain't got no Phillip Rivers, so they're never going to win.
Then you got Angels and Dodgers for the for your needs as a baseball fan. And then you got the Ducks and the Kings for hockey.
I thought the Angels were in Anaheim, which is not LA. Or is it LA and they're just fucking around?
Anaheim is basically LA.
Interesting.
And the Angels, I believe, are actually officially the LA Angels now. They're no longer the Anaheim Angels. The Ducks are still...
The Anaheim Angels of LA?
Yeah, the Ducks are technically still the Anaheim Ducks, but Anaheim... I mean, we could look it up, but I'm pretty sure Anaheim is basically Los Angeles.
Anathem, California. Yeah, it's all one paved nonsense from San Bernardino all the way to LA down to San Clemente. That's all LA.
Yeah. Okay, so greater LA area at best.
Correct. And Oceanside, which is weirdly enough in Nevada. Just kidding.
I mean, we're through this. There's a port town in Ontario that has no port, has no lakefront property. So
correct.
Yeah.
Where the heck is Oakland anyway?
Northern California.
Northern California, where the girls are warm and something. I don't remember all the words.
Actually, Sons of Anarchy takes place largely in Oakland. So.
Oakville, Lind.
I mean, technically, it takes place in the fictional town of Charming, California, but the main city near them is Oakland. So, I've become actually semi-informed on Northern California geography.
See, we got Santa Barbara, Santa Maria.
7th place from Andrew D, or is that defending against Barthez? I think it's defending against Barthez. Okay. So, not D making his way forward. I think the soft-tired Gambit has largely failed for him. Alfonso Alexandre looking to make the overtake here. Down into turn 1. Turn 1 is a prime overtaking spot, and he gets it done. 3rd place for the C7 Callaway. Callaway, of course, a very popular car in the field. There are 6 of them in a 12-car field. Slightly insane. It does make sense. It is the one GT3 car that isn't in ACC. So if you play ACC and Race Room, you're doing GT3s and Race Room, the Callaway just has pure appeal based on, well, that's new.
It's your boy, Grande Ricardo de Rossi.
Good to see Richard in the field.
I thought he had died.
Trying to get past Bertrand Barriet. Let's see. So the ESR crew, Magalesh in 3rd, DeRoche in 6th, D in 8th, Simmons 11th, Kaschuk 12th. That's our GTE crew. And then in the GT3 category, it is Josiah Jerome leading the way, Martin Edmonds in 5th, John Barker 6th, Delgado 7th, Davidson 8th, Hutchison in 11th, and Magus in 13th. Oh, and Fight in 12th. Yeah, Fight's with us as well.
Fight me.
And of course, a number of other people do, periodically race with us, but are representing other communities in this case.
Cowards. They just don't want to be associated with my personal brand of shenanigans.
Well, we're limited to how many cars we can field, so
just lie.
Maybe we didn't want them.
Just lie and say we can't
maybe
count.
We regret them. Tobias TH on the tail of Jesus Huerta. Where's Chris when we need to torment him with Jesus Huerta?
Correct. Speaking of Huerta, I need to find a before and after picture of Roger Huerta.
Oh my lord!
So I can show Javi, like, this is what this man was.
Yeah. Oh boy.
This man was once.
This man was once considered a big star in MMA, like the key to the future. He was a handsome man. He was the first man on Sports Illustrated, and time has not been kind. I mean, that's what happens when you go 3-11 in the cage, I guess. Oh, Alfonso Alexandre has fallen to the back of the pack. I wonder what's up with that. He is shown as a minus. I'm thinking technical difficulty is most likely the cause of the problem.
I technically am very difficult myself.
Bertrand Barrier did get overtaken by Richard DeRoche, so that's top 5 for Richard. Barrier dropped to 6th for the time being. Plenty of time to go. Still got a pit stop. 47 minutes to go. Pit window will open in 2.
So I'm cruising around on Google Maps in California here. I have discovered the ultimate in well-named cities. It's looks like, I don't know, something like 50 miles from the Mexican border, and it's called Hotville. You betcha it is. I have no question whatsoever.
I don't question your name, and I accept that it is probably accurate.
It's just north of Mexicali.
Slow down penalty for Michael Magus. Abuse of track limits.
What a hooker. I vote we have him immediately beaten.
Also Vic Vega.
Do you look inside that suitcase?
We're a little bit in a holding pattern, I think, at this point, as far as the battles are concerned. I think people are now starting to think about the pit stop strategy with less than a minute to go before the pit window opens, and how they can make the overtakes happen off track, as it were. We have lost one car and are down to 24 remaining, an even 12-12 split between the GTE and GT3 categories. Gaston Lecurzi in fourth place is the topic of interest right now. Andrew D still up on the tail of Arjun. And also coming is Andrew Racer, who's raced nicely back to 9th place. He's having a good race after his spin. Roman Barthez also in the mix there. Let me check back at Martin Edmonds, who's still trying to get up onto that GT3 podium against Cantonati. And there is the pit window open. You can see everyone's red dot has appeared. Red means they have not pitted. It will turn green when they handle a mandatory pit stop. And that is how you will know they are ready to go to the end of the race.
If I'm reading this last name correctly, it is Lakshmi Narasam. Narasam.
It's good. It's a cool name. It's a cool name.
Wait, I thought Lakshmi was something very specific. Hold on.
We will brave you with Byron's Indian culture knowledge.
Yeah, Lakshmi, ancient story of the ancient goddess. Lakshmi, goddess of wealth, fortune, power, luxury, beauty, fertility, and auspiciousness.
Oh,
that's very specific.
Oh, Martin Evans in the wall.
No one pits like Gaston has huge fits like Gaston.
Martin Evans rejoining the race. Now in second to last place.
Maybe.
Gaston Lecurzi. Oh, Lecurzi getting the job done against Pedro Magalesh. Down the inside, those soft tires are holding up still. And he gets the run on the medium tire shod Pedro Magalesh. I'm not yet certain that Pedro actually knows who Vinny Magalesh is.
I don't think so, no.
But he does seem to enjoy the fact that we are semi-preoccupied with his name.
It's, there's much lore to be had with the Vinny Magalesh, that fat Puerto Rican.
Is there any MMA fighter that has more, that outside of like champions, that has more lore than Vinny Magalesh?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe Chris Lieben? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Aaron Racer looking down the inside of Andrew D, but not finding anything yet. Barthez has been shuffled back to 9th place. Actually, oh, pardon me, it's Arjun Lakshima, who has been shuffled back all the way to 10. Lakshmi. He's been shuffled back to 10th. He was in 7th, now in 10th. I don't know what happened. We were not privy to that on camera.
Perhaps you put him in a head Lakshmi.
Perhaps.
Did you know that Thousand Oaks, California only has 900 oaks? That's the thing you need to know. I have no proof that that's even true.
I mean, I feel like they probably do not maintain literally 1,000 oak trees at any.
Just cut down the extras. 1,000 only.
I feel like that. I feel like that's a pedanticness that I would apply to a city, but that's about it.
If any more than 1,000 grow, then the portal will be unlocked.
Indeed, maybe it's the Hellmouth.
Could be.
If there are less than 1,000 oaks here, then it will take in 24 hours. We will have a Hellmouth open.
Nope,
Demons will pour.
I found where Lompoc is, so I know where to visit you later.
Oh. Aaron Racer, still in 8th place, has probably had the most interesting race of anybody. Spun out at the start and has made his way back. Pretty close to where he qualified, not quite there yet. But his soft tires have been put to good use, making their way through the field.
My new upstairs neighbors have turned some kind of music on, and the bass is so loud and so heavy that it's literally shaking apart whatever it is they've got their stereo set on. I can hear whatever it is just shaking.
People have an obsession with the large bass that often leads to damage to things.
And bad sounding music. Like, it just doesn't sound good. Just turn the bass down. It'll sound a lot better, dude.
Yeah, I would agree, but that is admittedly somewhat subjective.
I don't think so. Like, literally, they've got the bass on so high, so loud, that it's causing physical vibrations and things.
I mean, but we're also assuming the music is not, like, really, really bad to begin with.
True, but I'm sure every music could be immediately enhanced by not having, your furniture breaking.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a quality of life thing, for sure.
Well, the sound of the furniture breaking very slowly probably degrades the quality of music that you're listening to. And if you don't believe that, you're probably from Quebec. Oh, I found the nicest place to live in all of California. Are you ready?
No, hit me.
Pleasanton.
Ah.
Although it is next to Livermore, so I mean, there's probably some trade-offs.
Probably. Vic Vega, by the way, first man into the pits. He has handled his pit stop and dropped to the back of the pack. We'll see where he comes back in later. I will say the pitting right now, I don't really see the tactical value of it, big picture, because you're now going to be asking for like a 40-minute run out of your tires. So if you were struggling at 20 minutes with tire wear, I suspect you'll be struggling more if you have to go 40 on the second set. It might make sense for the GTEs, of course, because some of these guys are out here on soft tires. They can obviously swap the softs for mediums and get a little bit extra tire life. But for the GT3 cars, where there's only one set of tires, the hard compound, it is a bit of a weird choice. But might have been some damage involved. You never know. There could be other circumstances that led to that pit stop.
Maybe. Oh, and I found out that San Jose, Oakland, Berkeley, and San Francisco are all actually one city, so they should just change their name.
Yeah, they're all very, very close together.
It's all one big paved horseshoe. Just get one name.
Pretty much. Be one gigantic city.
And Richmond, and across the Golden Gate Bridge, you've got San Rafael, which is technically also San Francisco, I have to assume.
Pedro Magalesh looking for a move here into turn 1. We have a drive-through penalty for Magic Kazchuk. Ignoring his slowdown warnings. Ouch. So he will have to take a trip down the pit lane, and that is going to make a kind of disappointing race even more disappointing, because he's currently in 12th place and last amongst the GTE cars.
If you get a drive-through penalty, that means that you don't get your fries, right?
That's true.
You get the burger, you get the drink, but no fries.
Oh. Aaron Racer with the move on Andrew D. Nicely done. Getting the job done at the last corner. Speed up towards Gaston Lecurzi, who has lost third place now to Pedro Magalesh again. Richard DeRoche is really catching up to these guys. This is a case of not fighting would be actually a better idea between these two, because they're going to make this into a three-way dance instead of the one-on-one that it has been so far this race.
I found
Bertrand Barrier is not super far behind either.
There you go. Arjun Lakshmi Narasimhan.
Oh, it's two. Oh, okay.
Lakshmi
I was
Narasimhan.
wondering why it was so long. I'm just going to go with Arjun.
It's the ALN strikes again. I have found the
Roman Barthez. Oh, Barthez into the pit lane.
I found the spot in California where they put all the gay soldiers.
Oh.
Fort Dick.
Oh, Arjun in the wall.
Dang, man. Name comes up on screen, bad stuff happens.
Kind of.
No one drives like Gaston, has thick thighs like Gaston.
We here at ESR apologize for the content.
I apologize to absolutely everyone because I'm a dick.
I apologize to absolutely nobody because I'm Conor McGregor.
I have no morals, and I can be purchased.
He does not. He does not.
Fort Dick is right next to the laziest name in all of California, Pacific Shores.
It is pretty on the nose.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. You are on the coast of the Pacific Ocean.
Of the Pacific Ocean. Congratulations.
At least they got that right.
I mean, admittedly, there are some silly names in America, so that is being ahead of the game.
Correct.
Having a name that makes sense.
We got Big Bar, which is right next to Big Flat, which is just up the road from Burnt Ranch.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Still up in the front, it's Jesus Huerta and Tobias TH. They've pretty much made this a two-horse race for the overall victory, and they're distancing the gap even more. Probably helped by the fact that Magalesh and Lecurzi have been fighting so hard for third place, which is making that into slowly a four-way dance with DeRoche and Barrier catching up. Andrew D is back ahead of Aaron Racer. Max Simmons overtaking Arjun. That probably has to do with the contact with the wall.
Correct. I found a place in California named by a metal fan that has dyslexia.
Oh.
Salyer. It's literally Salyer. You were this close to Slayer, but no.
Slayer, California, baby.
Right in bold!
Aaron Racer looking for a move here into turn one. Very awkward turn one. Very hard to get right. But it will remain Andrew D ahead of Racer. Racer definitely has the pace. I mean, we've seen this a couple of times, but he had the lap 1 incident, and he has lap 2 incident, pardon me. And he has since climbed back up as high as 7th, is back to 8th now, possibly because of another mistake. As we pick up, I think, Steve Davidson for the first time today.
You tell him, Steve Dave.
Running in 6th place amongst the GT3s. Having a good day. Still not a lot of pit action, although Arjun is into the pit lane, so he's our third visitor of the race.
I have I've discovered the Muay Thai capital of California.
Hit me.
Kneeland. Spelled one word, it's spelled exactly like you think it is. That's just up the road from apparently a place that spans a lot of things. It's called Bridgeville. So everybody just lives on a bridge there.
Quite possibly. Oh, John Barker was looking for third place there against Cantonati and ended up off the track. John Barker, by the way, has had a good climb up to 4th place. He qualified pretty low and has made his way up quite nicely. So good on him. Mauricio Delgado is the next up on the pit lane. In and out for the Chilean driver.
Down the road from Bridgeville, we have Blocksburg, which is right next to Brock Creek. Good luck. If you got a speech impediment, you are absolutely screwed if you're talking about that portion of the
Pretty
state.
much. You might want to just avoid that whole area.
I would say so.
Andrew D and Aaron Racer flip spots again. Racer is in front this time. They approach some lap traffic. I believe that is Michael Magus. Callaway C7. In the ITK livery. As I see Martin Edmonds in the pit lane there in the Frickadelli Porsche. So he is next up.
Frickadelli, that's a little bow tie pasta, right?
Is it? I don't know.
I don't think so, no.
I believe the team is just named after Mr. Frickadelli, who is the owner.
Hey, Frickadelli to you too.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a pasta.
I have found the highest point in all of California.
Is it Big Bear?
It's a place called Up with 2 P's.
Gotcha.
Don't ask me how that works, but okay. Oh, you're probably like actually correct, but mine's funnier.
Whoa. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a lap car. I was gonna say third place appears to be very close to Tobias TH, but then I looked at the gap and saw that Magalesh is like 7 seconds back. So that is a lapped car. Somebody who's been in the pits is Pedro. Oh, speaking of Pedro, no, Pedro. Pedro having a moment and off track. Gaston Lecurzi overtaking him briefly, but he gets it back. I wonder if Lecurzi was involved in that, because Lecurzi was very close to Pedro. If he wasn't involved in that, we'll call it a moment, I would have thought he'd be well clear of him. But, maybe a little side-by-side contact between the two battlers for third place.
I will still vote for Pedro.
Well, we all vote for Pedro. He's my teammate.
Correct.
It's my quarterback.
I have found possibly 1B and 1C for laziest name in all of California.
Okay.
Around this place called Clear Lake, which is a lake, we on one end we have Upper Lake, and on the other end we have Lower Lake. And next to Lower Lake we have Clear Lake.
Yeah, Clear Lake at least says something about the lake. But
yeah, well then we have Lake. Ooh, hey,
Richard DeRoche getting all kinds of sideways.
Sir, you're not supposed to power slide into. Oh my goodness.
Oh Lord! Contact in the pit lane.
Getting frisky. This is just a cavalcade of ridiculousness. Around Clear Lake, we've got Upper Lake, we've got Lower Lake, we've got Clear Lake, we've got Clear Lake Oaks. Next to Upper Lake, we have North Lakeport, and just south of North Lakeport, we have Lakeport. And on the other side of
sucks.
and on the other side of the lake, just south of Upper Lake, we have Nice, which I think is actually going to be Nice, because south of Nice is Lucerne. What the fuck is going on in Clear Lake, California?
I apologize to anyone who lives around this lake, but your area sucks at gaming stuff.
Get some people, yeah.
Sure. Oh, Tobias TH, a little bit off the track there. That's a pretty important one, as he's in the middle of traffic right now. Could lose a lot of time. I'd get in the pits if I were him.
Indeed.
He's in a block of traffic right now, and he can't possibly come out in a worse spot. Like, this would be a perfect time to get in the pit lane. We'll see what happens. But number of pit stops have occurred. D has been in the pits. We've seen DeRoche, Bertrand Barrier has been in the pit lane. We have seen pit stops from Rene Ermer, Guido Cantonati, Aaron Racer has been in. Michael Magus has been in. It looks like we've lost Andrew D. Drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane and appears to be out of the race. So, packing it in after a drive-through penalty, or maybe he got hit with a technical issue.
I think technically you are correct.
Once the pit stops are all cycled through, we'll handle a full rundown of the positions as Dan Fight is in the pit lane. Wayne Hutchison dropping through the order, so I assume he is in the pits as well. Wayne is coming up to my neck of the woods, actually, in a little bit.
Voice.
He's going to visit London, Ontario.
Pip, pip, cheerio. Oh, there we go. South of Lower Lake, we have Twin Lakes, but I repeat, there is not.
There he is.
Another
John
lake.
Barker and Wayne Hutchison both rejoining the race.
Get him! Go fast to the pit lane. It's always the best strategy.
That'll get you a penalty. So Barker getting the... I think Barker was ahead, actually, before the pit stop, now that I think about it. Dan Fight speeding in the pit... Or David Fight speeding in the pit lane. I don't know why I keep mixing up if it's Dave or Dan.
It's because you're dyslexic.
Well, no, it's also particularly weird because we have so many Daves that, like, my default when I see a D should just be Dave. One of the GTE cars dropping into the pits there. Sure who that was. Magic Kazchuk and Pedro Magalesh picking up slow down penalties, as does Bertrand Barrier, Gaston Lecurzi into the pit lane. Pick up Arjun, who is running with Aaron Racer. Right now they're fighting over 12th place, 9th fighting over 11th, 9th within the class. But that's because the pit stops haven't cycled out. Josiah Jerome and JB Fordham mixing it up with the GTEs right now. So, yet to pit, we got Magalesh, who's in the lead. Huerta is in the pit lane now. Lecurzi's in the pit lane now. Simmons is still on track. Jerome, Fordham, and that's it. Magic Kazchuk with another drive-through penalty. He had one for track cut earlier, and now it's speeding in the pit lane.
Dang.
Huerta, the effective race leader, rejoining, or the actual race leader, I should say. Magalesh is the effective at the moment. Or is it the other way around? I'm not sure. Anyways, once the pit stops are cycled through, I think Huerta will be back in front. Or maybe not. Tobias TH is shown ahead of him, so Tobias may have jumped him in the pits. I think a couple of the GTEs honestly went too deep into the race. They got into a lot of traffic with blue flags, and that's always going to cost you time. I think people assume that blue flags won't cost them time, but they will. There's no way around it, because overtaking is always going to take a little bit of time. So I think maybe some of the GTEs have gone too deep into the race, and I'm looking at you, Max Simmons, because you're probably in traffic right now. Although Jesus Huerta rejoins in traffic behind one of the Callaway C7s. Makes his way through. I think we have 3 of that livery, so I'm never sure who that is. It's the one that's behind Martin Edmonds, so that would be Mauricio Delgado. Michael Magus on board. Currently in 22nd position. Second to last, ahead of David Fight. Huerta's gone with the soft tires. Makes sense. Went quite deep on his first run. So he'll have to try to get past Tobias TH, which is the GT right ahead of him. The other 2 cars ahead of him do have to pit, and I do believe will come out behind him.
But what if they come out directly in front of him and block the track?
He has problems. Oh, big spin. That was Magus.
What a hooker. No?
I mean, I don't know how to respond to that.
Well, that's fair. For tax purposes, no.
For tax purposes, no. Oh, 3 wide, maybe. Need to turn 1 here. Huerta versus TH. Effective lead on the line. And TH retains as they get through the lapped car of... I didn't catch who that actually was in the GT3.
It was me.
It's one of the 77 liveries, so that could be Steve Davidson. Probably Steve Davidson is going to be my
It was me the whole time.
I mean, I hope not. If you've been holding out on us the ability to run in the top 5 all this time, I mean, geez.
Well, I mean, you're just so busy racing that I slipped in. You didn't even notice.
Arjun exploring the track.
He was very rambunctious.
Audacious, you would say.
One may even say splendiferous.
I like that word.
Nay, crumulent.
Not so big on that one.
What about
Gaston Lecurzi?
Dang.
Joining the track. He went way off. Jesus Christ. That was not a little a miss of a braking zone. That was a massive braking zone miss by Gaston Lacurzi. Martin Edmonds chasing down Steve Davidson. Drive-through penalties, speeding in the pit lane for David Veit, who is just parked at the end of the pit lane, probably going, "What am I doing wrong?" Meantime, Davidson's still battling it out with Martin Edmonds for 4th place in the GT3 category. Probably accurate. There are 2 GT3 cars that have not pitted in Josiah Jerome and Jamie Fordham. I don't think that this gamble is working out for Fordham. I think he's losing a ton of time. So, I would say, my advice, I suppose, to the racers here today is you might want to think about how traffic's going to affect your run before you decide to run 40 minutes into the race, because the cars that have gone deep, with the exception of Josiah Jerome and possibly Pedro Maglash, I think are actually paying a considerable price right now, as Barthez loses a spot there to Richard DeRoche. Obviously not saying that a long run isn't a good idea, just saying that you got to take into account the full aspect of the traffic situation. And we'll see. We'll see if anyone who's gone super deep actually ends up making up spots, Fordham into the pit lane. But I think it'll cost in the long run.
How much? $5?
$5.
$10,500.
$350 actually.
Dang it, Loch Ness Monster.
As Pedro Magalash rejoins right behind the leader, so he's made up quite a bit of ground. I think Huerta in particular went a little bit too deep, because he's lost the lead to Tobias TH and now has Pedro Magalash on his tail. So his run not working out in the pit stop phase. Max Simmons is still out there along with Josiah Jerome. Jerome in the pit lane, I think. Yep, he's dropping. So once again, we need a sound effect. Max Simmons is the last man to pit.
Ding ding ding. It's like a big old dinner bell triangle. Ding 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 ding.
He has taken the lead off of the whole thing, but we'll see when he pits. Now, admittedly, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something about Simmons' deep run here. I think it's maybe not the worst idea. He was having a bit of an unimpressive race. He was, I think, only ahead of Magic Kazchuk. So he had to roll the dice, and he has rolled the dice, and we'll see if it works out. As Jesus Huerta getting very side-by-side with Cantonati. Bit rude under blue flags by Cantonati. I know you're not required to move all the way off the racing line or get out of the way or anything, but that was side-by-side contact under blue flags is always going to be a little bit frowned upon.
Sir, have you ever been to Manhattan Beach? I bet not, because it's in California, apparently.
I've never been to California, so correct.
Seems like a weird place to put Manhattan, but okay.
Steve Davidson has lost a spot to Martin Edmonds. That's for 4th place in GT3. Three minutes left in the pit window. That is the time Max Simmons has to make his pit stop. The early pit stop by Barthez worked out fairly well. He's up to 7th place, probably 6th once the pit stop's fully shaken out. That being said, he is going to be asking a fair bit of his tires. I'd like it if we could get a focus on him to see what compound he's running.
That'd be compound W.
Or the hards.
Compound W for all of your wart removing needs.
Ooh.
I'm just going to do a burnout right on your wart. In another news, I want my goddamn office chair to show up.
I can relate.
But I ain't had no updated tracking since, like, last week.
Well, it is the weekend.
No, I think it went from Chicago into the Canada, and they don't bother tracking since then. Yeah, Hodgkins crossed from Hodgkins, Illinois, back on the 28th, and it is now a whole other month later. And I protest.
Protest. It'll be all worth it in the end.
And if they don't get it to me in time, I will have them all deported to El Cajon. Maybe we should...
Simmons has been in the pit lane and has not come out yet. Looks like he's in the pit lane still.
Maybe that'd be a new nickname for Javier. He could be the El Cabron from El Cajon.
Oh, there you go. If Max Simmons ever gets a fighter, it's going to be life in the pit lane. All right, let's see where Simmons comes out after rolling the dice. Looks
Pockets in hand.
Looks like it's going to be behind Aaron Racer. Yep, there's the change. But ahead of Arjun. I'm not sure if that really is because he stayed out long or because Arjun's had kind of a rough second stint. We've seen him off the track a couple of times. Vic Vega having a moment. Oh, no, Max. Drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
I think maybe this might throw his whole strategy into tatters.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
I think perhaps he has...
The long run, I think, did help him. The long run did help him, I think, because he did end up in 9th place off the whole deal. Yes, he picked up only a spot over Arjun, and I think that spot might have come anyways. But he was much closer to the top 8. So I think that long run did work out for Max, but this speeding in the pit lane penalty will probably put to rest any hope he has of anything more than like a 10th place finish.
Good news is he will definitely finish in the top 27.
True. Oh, Jesus Huerta with the move on Tobias TH. Sold him a bit of a dummy, and it looks like Tobias was not ready to defend. As they head into the second sector of this lap.
Your boy Tobias done been bamboozled.
Roman Barthez. Nope, not getting overtaken. Barrier was already ahead of him. So that's Barrier defending. They're coming up to lap 1 of the GT3 Porsches. It's not Edmonds, so that would be Rene Ermer that they are approaching. As Tobias TH will look for another chance here today to get back past the Peruvian Jesus Huerta. They're both putting tracks down against Brazil's Pedro Magalhães. Somebody off the track there. Somebody else off the track there. Wow. Things happening. Mauricio Delgado rejoined. Steve Davidson, I think, was the other one that was off. Double Callaway misfortune. Rene Ermer going to pick up a spot off that.
Is it true that the TH stands for Tijuana?
I don't know. I have no idea what the TH stands for.
It has been my understanding that TH might stand for Total Hurricane Run-Up.
Gaston Lecursi's Porsche has seen better days, but he's still in the top 5. And still pestering Richard DeRoche. As Roman Barthez and Bertrand Barrier work their way through traffic. One of the 77 Callaways ahead, either Steve Davidson or Mauricio Delgado. They're both in the same general area. This one would be Delgado.
How come Charger's not out there? I don't need to make fun of him a little bit in the racing.
It's no RWB. Oh boy!
We should just make an exception just for Charger.
Delgado went right into the middle of the GTE pack. That was a bit sketch, and Rene Ermer getting very, very slow. Don't know what was up with that from Ermer. Looks like he just completely chickened out on the whole thing. Which may not have been a bad idea, to be honest, but a bit odd. Gaston Lecursi, the only car really showing any heavy damage. I think he was the one that headbutted the wall after missing the braking point. Let's pick up Rene Ermer. Or Erme.
L'Hermier. Je suis l'Hermier. If that's an actual word in French, I'm not subscribing.
I'm going with Ermer because, I mean, the Danish flag, generally speaking, they go with the not the ER combo. But could be. Could be either. Jesus Huerta and Tobias TH coming up to a very damaged-looking Callaway Corvette. Could be vague, I think. Bad day for Magic Kazchuk, who's actually behind some GT3s right now. The podium of Jerome, Fordham, and Cantonati, who has really gotten the better of the whole pit stop exchange. He's shaking off Edmonds and Barker, Davidson and company, Ermer, and really taking charge of the podium today. Good job by the Argentinian driver.
When are you in
Delgado on the tail of Steve Davidson?
When are you and Krauschuk teaming up so you can have the Magic and the Magus?
I'm already doing Team Mag with Magalesh.
Team Magnum.
Team Magnum Vinny.
Good old Maglev transportation.
Sure, what's up with that defensive line from the Corvette there? Steve Davidson trying to desperately keep his spot ahead of Ermer and Delgado, and it's not working because Delgado just got him, although the camera decided to move away while that happened. We're down to the last 10 minutes here. Huerta's still leading from Tobias TH with Pedro Magalesh, Richard Roche, Gaston Lacurzi. Rounding off your top 5, in the GT3 category, it is Jerome, Fordham, Cantonati, Edmonds, and Barker. Pretty happy hunting for the ESR crew right now. We've got 2 guys in the top 10 for GTE and 3 guys in the top 10 for GT3.
Joke's on you, you're dyslexic. They're both the same class.
Top 5. No, they are not. One's blue, one's green.
Joke's on you, you're dyslexic and colorblind.
I'm not. I'm not Eritor.
I wasn't going to tell you because it was really funny for a long time, but you definitely are colorblind. You think that's black, red, and yellow? No.
The flag. Yeah.
we just thought it would be funny to make you believe that.
It's the proud German flag, which we have a couple of examples of. Aaron Racer on board with. Trying to catch up back to Barrier. Back to the front where Tobias TH is still in a fight with Jesus Huerta. You know, Jesus might have gotten Peru to like the greatest sim racing country I have seen because he's the only Peruvian driver I've actually run across, and he does very, very well. So as far as I know, all Peruvians drive like Jesus Huerta.
That is a fact. They teach it in elementary school.
Still a tight battle there, although they have left Pedro Magalesh behind, who is having a lonely run to a 3rd place by the looks of it. 22 seconds up on DeRoche, who has got Lacurzi falling back, but still there. Barrier and Racer are having a little bit of a fight. Barthez is kind of still attached to that. And then we're having a really good fight between Arjun and Max Simmons back there for 9th place. I would hope that we get some love for that on camera. The GT3 field is fairly spread out with the exception of the battle between Delgado, Davidson, and Ermer for 18th overall. There we go. So Max Simmons with a little bit of damage showing. Dented up bonnet as he chases Arjun. Was well ahead of Arjun, but then took that drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Is that because he cannot be contained?
Lost 3 cars so far. Alfonso Alexandre, Andrew D, and David Fight all out of the race.
They just drove so fast they're at a completely different racetrack right now.
Maybe. I mean, they may have just drawn... so this track has an oval around it, as well as the infield section that we're using. Maybe they're out on the oval.
That seems like a better spot.
In fact, if you look at the camera view here, you could see the oval kind of going off in the distance there. See it over there.
It's too ovular.
It's a shame that they don't have the oval layout actually in this game. It'd be pretty fun. Similar with Indianapolis as well as Daytona.
But do they have a track in the shape of One Punch Man?
That'd be interesting. I think that could work. Probably somewhere in Japan, let's be real.
That would be pretty good.
One Punch track! The GTE leaders are catching up with the GT3 leader, Josiah Jerome, up ahead. Pick up Rene Ermer on the back of these 2 Callaway Corvettes. That is Davidson, or Delgado and Davidson.
Dale Davison.
Battle for 7th place in the GT3 standings.
I got to speak with Mauricio very briefly the other day.
Oh, what did he have to say?
Not a whole lot, and then he muted himself, so I didn't get to talk to him for very long.
He has a very excited voice during the races.
Yeah, well, he was very excited at the time. And I was looking forward to conversing with Mauricio, and then I guess he just doesn't like me anymore.
Oh, I doubt that very much. As GT3 leader Josiah Jerome sees the GTE leaders under blue flags. Shakes his fist angrily at them. He's like, if only I had a car that was in the same class as you, I would be up there fighting with you.
Stab him in the neck.
But Josiah is a proud Audi aficionado, so he was not going to do that. Max Simmons looking to go around the outside of Arjun, who just made a mistake. And looks like he'll have it. Four minutes and 15 seconds to go in the race, so probably about 3 laps, depending on where you are on the track.
Which means if you have any photon torpedoes left, fire them shits.
So we got the battle for the lead still going on. Huerta versus TH. Still got the battle between Simmons and Arjun for 9th place. And we still have the 3-way fight between Delgado, Davidson, and Ermer in the GT3 category. Everyone else in the GT3 is pretty spread out. Not really much going on right now.
But what if they had a GTE3?
I'm not sure if that would fit in between the 2 classes or actually be the fastest car on the track.
It's got several different engines and has 8 tires. None of which ever degrade.
Oh. The everlasting tire. I mean,
until
if someone could come up with an everlasting tire, they would make a lot of money.
Indeed. What if they made the road and the tire out of the same material and they could just replenish itself forever? Wow, man. Insert angry comments below.
That's some deep thinking shit right there. Racer on the tail of Barre. I forgot that fight was still going on over 6th place.
Here he comes. Here's Aaron Racer. He's a racer not named Joe.
I wonder if Aaron Racer is the only one that's done the double stint on soft tires, actually, because he's gone from soft to soft.
Didn't there used to be a little indicator on who's using what tire?
Only when the camera is on them now, unfortunately.
That sounds like the dumb.
So I can tell what Tobias is using, soft tires. You can see the S there. But he is the only one that I can tell at the moment. There's no indication for the others. So I would have to remember the tire choices.
Well, I mean, do you remember everything?
I think Tobias was running mediums at the start of the race. I don't think he's done the double soft challenge. Oh boy, Aaron Racer having a bit of a moment. That's the second time he's had a spin in turn 1. So maybe the downside of the soft tires is he's losing traction right now.
For those that weren't aware, if Michael is awake, he knows what's going on. It doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. He knows.
John Barker, slow down penalty for continuing to abuse track limits. John Barker, stop spanking those limits.
What kind of abuse are we talking here? Is it consensual?
I mean, I went with the spanking option, but you can go with whatever you want.
I mean, if you can maybe insert some details in the comment section, that'd be ideal.
My Discord is blowing up. So is that you?
No, it's not me this time.
Important? Okay. I will check that momentarily. We got less than a minute to go here in the race.
It's gonna bug you the entire time.
Tobias TH looking to hunt down that victory.
Perhaps in Victorville, California. There's Victorville, which is prison, and then there's Vacaville. And they're 2 different places.
I assume they may also both be prison.
I don't know. I've never heard of Vacaville.
Probably not, but maybe.
Things are possible in the fullness of time.
All things are possible in the American justice system.
Dun dun.
A little bit of sideways action there from Tobias, but he hangs on to it. He's going to have one more lap, I think, to try to get this pig done.
Tobias, you crazed hooker.
So it is the last lap for Tobias TH to try to get Jesus Huerta. Coming up to some lap traffic there. Heavily damaged car.
And if he succeeds, he will be the Tobias.
Could be Max Simmons up ahead of them, who's fallen quite a ways back of Arjun. So it looks like Simmons has had a violent encounter of some kind. Some traffic. That is I can't tell because again it's that 77 Callaway livery that there are like 4 of in the field. So
and they're all driven by Jesus Huerta Megalesh.
If you want me to successfully identify you out on track and you're using that livery, you're going to have to change. Like that's just all there is to it. Cannot do it. I'm going to guess that it is Vic Vega, based on the fact that Vic is the only one of the Callaways with that livery that is off on his own right now. So, presumably, it is Vic Vega. Been a bad day, kind of, for the Callaways as well, because 2 of them have retired, and then Magus, Vega, Davidson are the last 3 running cars, and then Delgado isn't exactly terribly far ahead of them. He's ahead of just Ermer, so looks like the C7 and Lausitz Ring not really working. Checkered flag is out, so presumably we do have a race winner in Jesus Huerta. Josiah Jerome will take the GT3 crown because he is some 29.5 seconds up the road from the next car. But everybody is now finishing up. Another thing I'd like to see Race Room take from ACC is the little checkered flags to tell us when people are done. That'd be handy. Magic Kazchuk coming across the line. 13th place. Not a good day for him at all. Coming to a stop on the oval section.
I demand a track that they have to race in NASCAR that is an octagon.
Oh boy.
It's just all tighter turns than anything they've ever seen before.
That's true.
With power slide, everything.
All right, we have results. Jesus Huerta, your fastest lap and race winner. Tobias TH second, followed by Pedro Maglash, Richard Durocher, Gaston Lacurzi, Bertrand Barre, Aaron Racer, Roman Barthez, Arjun Lakshmi Narashima? Shim? I don't know. Max Simmons, your top 10. In GT3, Josiah Jerome. Damn it, they took my results away. Jamie Fordham, Guido Cantonati, Martin Edmonds, John Barker, Wayne Hutchison, Mauricio Delgado, Rene Ermer. There you go.
Wrong. Yeah, no, you're probably right.
I am right.
Am you?
It's right there on the screen in front of you.
That's what you want to believe.
Hey, look, the new rigs.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
Trying to see what the differences of each of them are. It just really seems to be the chair.
Well, you see, one of them's got a 20-degree up thingamabob, and the other one's only 19.5 degrees. And, there's a bit of a difference there. You got to pay
So
the
Byron,
extra.
do you have any final thoughts of the from the ESR multi-community race with TUGAS and E-Sports Racing Argentina?
I think that we need 17 more organizations to be involved, and we need to have at least 72,000 cars on the track at all times.
Not possible, but would be cool.
Would be cool.